Video 4, Nature of the Self. This is from Upadesa Undiyar, verse 14. Mana uru maya meimannu mayogi tanakkor seyalilai undipara thanniyal saarndanan undipara. Here, Sri Bhagavan is talking about the state of an enlightened being. Once, see, earlier we saw in Ulladhu Naarpadhu, there is a verse 16 which says, Ahandai undayin anaithum undagum, Ahandai inrel indru anaithum, Adalal, Yadu idu nadale, Ovudal yavum ena vor. This is the central discovery, so to say, of Sri Bhagavan's. Ahandai undayin anaithum undagum. If ego is there, everything is there, which means your body, experience of the body, world, the universe, your personal problems, your storyline, your worries, your concerns, your happiness, your pleasure, your pain, your future, the thought about your birth, death, your children, their future, and so on. When only if ego is there, psychological sense of I is there, bodily sense of I is there, which is functioning right now in you and me. Ahandai inrel indru anaithum. If that ego is pulled out, uprooted, all these things I listed are not there. Only Atman is there. So he says, Ahandaye yavu madalal. It is the ego which is everything, which functions as everything, which makes everything appear as an experience to you. So he says, Yadu idi ena nadale ovudal yavum ena vor. So, if you want to renounce everything in the world, you don't have to renounce, he says. If you seek the source of the ego, what is this ego? Where is it born? Which is it that is appearing as this ego? If you go on diving inside and reach the source of that ego, the ego will be found not to be there. It is non-existence. It will flee. It will run away. That's what we already seen. So this is the most central point to understand. So all that we are doing in the name of spiritual practice is to drive back the ego to its source so that it subsides there and Atma shines forth. Only a veil is doing all this mischief. The I am the body thought is doing all the mischief. Once through effort you remove it, we are Atma, Brahman, then there is no question of the body, there is no question of talking about the world, universe, birth, death, nothing is there. You are already formless Atma that shines forth permanently without limit. That's what. So in this verse he says, Mana urumaya meimannu mayogi. He, a yogi or jnani, does vicharam or the practices, and the form of his ego has disappeared. Once that has disappeared, Meimannu Mayogi, one who rests in his original nature, Tanakkor Seyalilai Undipara, he doesn't have anything to do in this universe world at all. Because in his experience, ego itself is not there. Only if ego is there, the world is there. Only if the world is there, you need to do something. Only if you think you are the individual, you exist, you can do something in the world, you need to do something in the world. When everything is absent, it's like an amnesia. Of what? Amnesia of the body itself. Then what is there for you to do? What is left for you to do? Nothing. So, Tanakkor Seyalilai Undipara, Thanniyal Saarndanan Undipara. He has reached his original nature, he says. In verse 21, நானெனும் சொற்பொருளாமது நாளுமே நானற்ற தூக்கத்தும் உந்தீபர நமதின்மை நீக்கத்தால் உந்தீபர. He is talking about the meaning of the word. This is from Upadesa Undiyar, verse 21. He is saying the definition of the word I is Brahman. நானெனும் சொற்பொருளாமது நாளுமே. Ever, the meaning of the word I is Brahman. But what are we by default using it as? This body. He is saying by default the meaning has to be, when you say I, it has to be Brahman. Experience of Brahman, that oneness. Nanatra Tukkatum. He says that is the meaning even in deep sleep. Because in deep sleep, somebody sleeps. Who? It is the mind. What about you, Brahman Atma? You are ever present. You have no sleep, you have no waking, you have no death, you have no birth, you have no coming into existence, you have no coming out of existence, no disappearance. This you will know even in deep sleep. When the body is sleeping, mind is sleeping, you will still be awake. Sri Bhagavan was there. So when someday he snored, so a disciple came and said, Bhagavan, you slept off and snored. Sri Bhagavan said, I know. I knew. Which means that is impersonal state of awareness, which is aware of everything, body, mind, what it does, the world, everything it is aware of. Its business is to be aware, just aware. Itself, everything else, it is just aware. So, Manavuru Maya Maiman Mayogi, Tanakor Serali Undipara, Taniel Sandar Undipara. After that, in this verse, he says, Nanenum Surpurulam Adu Nalume. When you utter the word I, please remember it should mean Brahman, oneness, enlightenment, the self, Atma, Brahman. It should mean that even in deep sleep. Namadinmai Nikattinal. We think in the deep sleep that we are not there. This is Namadinmai. The feeling that I am not there in deep sleep. He says that is an error. That will also go once you get enlightened. Because even in deep sleep, once you get enlightened, you will know that you are Brahman awareness, you are vast, infinite existence, consciousness, bliss. You will know that your body is in deep sleep. Your mind is in deep sleep, you will know that. That is what is said in this verse. Then, in verse 23, he says, Ulladunara unarvu Verinmayin Ulladunarvahum Mundipara Unarve Namayulam Mundipara. Now he is trying to define what is that state of enlightenment. We do all spiritual practices. We do Karma Yoga, we do Jnana Yoga, Patanjali's Yoga, Patanjali's Yoga, and then we do Bhakti, devotion, or we do self-enquiry, Vicharam as taught by Sri Bhagavan. What is it we are trying to achieve? We are trying to dissolve the person who does this Vicharam. Here we are using the mind not to acquire something. We are using the mind to dissolve the mind. Dissolving the mind through the efforts of the mind. So at the end, what will be there? Ulladunara unarvu. If you want to realize the reality, that which is always there, the permanent reality, it can be done with unarvu. Here, this is a Tamil word which means sort of feeling or a a palpable sensation, because when you go on diving deep into yourself through inquiry, the ego goes on, nearing the self. Once it touches the self, you will experience a kind of spuranam. You will experience a kind of palpable sensation. That is the we can say the interregnum, that is the point of contact where both the ego are at work and Atma is at work. Slowly that spuranam, that palpable sensation will also go, and total absolute peace will prevail permanently. Because jnanam, enlightenment, is just from the mind's point of view, total peace and stillness. So, Ulladunara unarvu, Verinmayin, Ulladunarvahum undipara, Unarve Namayulam undipara. He says, after enlightenment, we are in the form of that unarvu, that feeling. Now, we should not mix it with bad feeling, good feeling, joy, sorrow, etc. It's a little difficult to put it in word. It is that state of enlightenment, which he calls unarvu or palpable sensation, or its subsidence, finally that peace. Of course, the best definition is param shantim. Absolute stillness and peace of mind is enlightenment. In verse 28 in Upadesa Saram, he says, Tanadiyal yadana tandherigirpin anadi anantasat undipara akanda chidanandam undipara. If you know your true nature, Tanadiyal yadana tandherigirpin anadi anantasat undipara, your experience will be beginningless, endless existence, pure existence. What? Universe? No. That is existing object, universe. Are you talking about the body? No, it is an existing object. Then all the trees, plants, stones, sky, stars, no, they are not existence. They are existing objects. There is something which is running through as a thread common to all these existing objects. That is the principle of existence. That is what we are. So we'll experience ourselves as pure existence, Sat. Of course, when you say Sat, it means Chit also, awareness. It means bliss also. That is our true nature. So once we realize our true nature, our experience will be beginningless, endless, Sat, pure existence. Tanadiyal yadana tandherigirpin anadi ananta sat undipara akanda chidanandam undipara. We'll experience, next he says, apart from Sat, we'll experience ourselves as Akanda Chidanandam, undivided bliss of consciousness. That's all. This is the conclusion of the scriptures. 3 words you need to remember: existence, consciousness, bliss. But they refer to only one thing, that is our inner nature, core nature, enlightenment, Brahman. What is the enemy? I thought. I thought if you go on doing inquiry, the I thought will go on subside, this will surface. Because it has already been surfacing, it has already been always there. Only problem is our I thought, it is the veil. That's all. So we'll continue in video 5 of Nature of the Self.